or something?
We're getting to know Greg a little bit. Can you talk about?
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
That's a good thing. He was a beast on the offensive glass against the Shans. Can you just talk about sort of his development? Is that the natural progression? You want to see those?
Oh, I would love
first?
to see a natural progression where all of a sudden you start getting. What do you have against St.
6 offensive rebounds. Well, 9 total.
9 total, and against the Pole, and a few also. I think Greg is extremely talented. I think as time goes on, you're going to slowly see everything that he can do. He's one of these players, and I've been fortunate enough to have a couple that I think he can be very good at every part of the game of basketball, at both ends of the floor. And so, that takes time, but he's someone that's a much better offensive player than he's shown so far. He's settling into that. And he actually is a much better defensive player. He's shown flashes from his defense. Before everything's said and done, I think he's a guy that can guard, if we're using numbers 1 through 4. But he's a freshman. And we're still in the first half of his freshman year. And so it is a progression, but I anticipate him being very good at all aspects of the game very soon.
He came into college a really good shooter, but now it seems like he's a little uncomfortable shooting the ball. Is that just something he needs to grow into?
Honestly, with him, I just think it's just jitters. Like I think it's early, and he's still trying to figure it out. He can shoot. I mean, I don't know whether it's nerves, whether it's just it's just growing up. It's just growing up. But as a coach, and I have no idea what the percentages or numbers is, but when he takes a shot, I'm very comfortable with the shot. He's going to be a big-time scorer, I think.
Who's the most disruptive at the top of that press? Otto, Hollis,
or press?
You're 1-2-2.
At the top, both Otto and Greg are both really good up there.
A certain radio host in town, or maybe he's no longer a radio host in town, said that Greg might be, when he's done here, maybe one of the best defensive players that's ever come through here.
Does that certain guy know anything about basketball?
in theory.
That guy does know it. I think he has a chance to be. I really do. Now, that's saying a lot. Obviously, Mike Riley, Gene Smith pop into my head immediately. Greg is very different than both of them, when you start talking about defenders. But I think he has a chance to be. Now, a lot of things about basketball, he's just learning and just being exposed to. But with time, he has the skill set and the understanding and the caring to accomplish that.
Does it say a lot about his character as a basketball player, his discipline, that his shot's not there, but he's really attacking the glass, that he's not just, my shot's off, I'm just going to sit here in the corner, that he's finding other ways to contribute to the team?
No, and I think that has been and needs to continue to be a strength of our team, is that there's an appreciation for all parts of the game. And so you can look at one game early on and you say, well, Otto Porter, and I forget what his stat line was, but he had big numbers in every little box across the thing. And I think this group understands that every part of the game is important. So they understand, okay, I'm not making shots, or today, Mex is making shots, but I can affect this game if I get a deflection, if I get a rebound, if I get a putback. They understand that when we're going through stretches, sorry about that, when we're not making our shots, making perimeter shots, that we got a group of guys that can go get it, put it back in. And so he understands he can help in a lot of different ways, as does the group.
John, you mentioned all parts of the game for shooting, maybe beating dead horse. Jason talked about it being a mystery whether or not going in. Is it a mystery to you?
It really is. Because our good shooters are missing their foul shots. And they are good shooters, and we work on it, and I don't know. It's one of those things where, okay, as a coach, what's the right answer? Do you beat them up with it so they start thinking about it? Do you ignore it? And so, our good shooters are missing their foul shots. And so don't write about it so they don't think about it too much. And it's got to change, because it'd be different if your bad shooters are missing shots. That guy can't shoot, but House's numbers are 60% from three, and what the number is from the foul line. And that doesn't make sense.
Speaking of presses, how would you rate your team's work against DePaul's 1-2-2 full court?
Not as good as it has to be. And I think that it's particularly at the end of the game, I was in a very animated post-game discussion for a win just because I think that we got careless at the end. And I think it was because of things, you guys have all heard me say it's things that we can control. So I don't think we were good against them. But I don't think that's indicative of who we are.
So Rutgers has freshman women too. Just talk a little bit about them.
They're very good. Watching their team, they have guys that can make shots. They got guys that can get to the cup, and they're a very unselfish team. I think they do an outstanding job of getting each other. And then they work on defense also. They do a good job of mixing up their defenses. So it's very tough.
What about that Lithuanian guy they have down low? He's a monster physically.
Yeah, he is. He's a big aggressive. He's a big aggressive kid. And so, we'll see how that plays out. That we won. You said the most.
Yeah, that's true. You obviously did some things. I know you said the last game. You didn't finish it the way you really liked it, but nonetheless.
Well, I think I said this after the Cincinnati game. For that stretch, we didn't do things that have helped us to have success. We didn't rebound at a level that we need to, and we didn't defend at a level that we need to. And we focus on those two things. And the turnovers. Let's not forget those three things. Everything else is kind of
John, you mentioned the turnovers. How much have you been talking about that? Team practices,
a lot.
ball security. They get the message.
We'll see. But it's important. I think if you look at us, and I don't know what the numbers are, but I think we're shooting a pretty decent percentage. When we get shots, they go in more often than not. So let's get more shots. That's the message. Let's get more shots. Let's not give them more shots. Let's get more shots. It's not rocket science for us.
How it starts physically.
I think he's fine. I haven't seen him. There he is over there today. I haven't heard from him or the trainer that he was not fine. So I'm assuming that he was fine. And I've never. I think I said this after the game. I don't know when you guys were there, but we were at the gym, and he was like, "I don't feel well. I can't go." And so I don't. Maybe this is negligence on my part, but I haven't checked with my trainer today. If something is wrong, they would call me. So